Welcome back. The fight before Christmas continues. We have something to talk about as far as the additional prize for the winner of this tournament, with the cool skin idea that we had brought up yesterday, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But to kick off these intros, on the left-ish corner of the map, or because we're casting a Kane game at the 8:45, 9:45 position on the map, it's going to be the red Zerg player from Axiom, Impact.
In the upper right, has the pink Zerg, it is Mind Sanity's Kane.
What is this, like 12:05? 5 after 12-ish?
Wow. Wouldn't it be like... I don't understand. Are we saying that like both the minute hand and the hour hand have to be on the exact
precise
same...
with time.
But they have to be at the exact same point?
Well, no. Maybe, yes.
Oh?
I guess.
Yeah? Because it'd be different, right?
So
like
5 after 1 then. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. If you guys didn't catch the cast with Kane a little while ago, you're probably wondering what we're talking about. It's a bit of an inside joke here for the base trade dedicated fans. But talking about the actual prize of the tournament. So we've talked about the actual prize value of the tournament. There's $4,000 on the line, $2,000 for first place, blah, 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 blah. It's cash. This is with every tournament. What we have unique to this one that's going to be pretty cool is this time, instead of a physical trophy like we mailed out to Parting, this time we're going to actually have like an in-game trophy, so to speak, where all future events on Base Trade TV, whoever wins this tournament will have something very unique tied to them. Now, this could be something small like a particle effect, like if Pult were to win and he wants his Hellions to shoot gold instead of blue, we can make that happen. But the thing is, it will only affect the viewers, not the players, so it doesn't change the game at all. But for the viewers watching, they're like, hey, that guy, why does this stuff look different? He must have won a tournament or something. Same can be said where we can actually resurrect things like roach skins. This is, of course, being advertised a little bit because there was that big thread by Destiny recently, and I think it's kind of cool that there's options, just not monetizable ones, to make this stuff happen. So look forward to the winner of this tournament. Anytime we cast them in the future, we'll have some very unique features.
one day I'll be able to buy Bomber's gold tank. Just laced with gold.
I'm not even that obsessed with like full-on skins. I would just love to be able to put like a flag on the back of my Marines or something, or I don't know.
Man, no. Voice packs are seriously where it's at. I know everyone's agreeing on that Reddit thread. I actually agree 100% as well. Voice packs are the bomb. I want Idra telling me that I'm bad at this game and I should stop playing.
I would love, yeah, instead of your army's under attack, it's like, what are you doing? Look over there. Well, as far as I don't know this goes, I really like what Kane's done here to block out. These lurklings will not be able to get to the main. Okay, she pulls the drone back to be ultra safe. That's cool.
Ultra's in this game, Rifkin.
To be extra safe, zombie grub. Thank you. That's like a Rifkin joke.
Yeah, it's one you made yesterday.
Oh, okay. Then it was a Rifkin joke. Literally. I think if he had left one of the drones there, he definitely could have denied scouting, but the only thing he didn't want Impact to see was the fact that he didn't open with gas. Now, this isn't a big tell because we've been seeing players like Solar take that gas a little bit later into the game, and that's fine. In fact, we're going to see the same thing out of Impact. The difference is Kane doesn't know this. He didn't send those lings out to scout.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen no gas versus no gas. It's crazy. Cray. Of course, they're both going to be putting down gas right now. There you go. But the question is, do they both actually go for, like, very slow and steady Roach 2 upgrades, slow third? Or does someone bust out with Link Speed and Banelings, or, like, Baneling and Roaches?
Well,
it's going to be cooler.
I don't think I could speak to the cool factor. I always, of course, think back to Life as the coolest when it comes to playing on this map. But one thing I think we didn't really address before this, and we definitely mentioned it leading into the round of 8, was Impact is what I always best describe as like a bit of a sniper. He always seems to have the proper build order. He always seems to know exactly what his opponent's going to do. Now, sadly, in Zerg versus Zerg, it's not really a build order war a lot of the time. Sometimes you'll luck out and it's a build order victory, but for the most part, I imagine he probably watched VODs of Kane. He probably looked and combed through any replays he could find. He probably came into this match fully prepared for who he was going to fight. Kane, on the other hand, it's not like he woke up and hopped onto the computer and almost won versus Solar, like Lilabo did earlier, but Kane's still a very adept Zerg player. I know he's been awake for a while. He was practicing a bit earlier, so he came today prepared in his own way, that's for sure.
Kane is doing what we know I was thinking of. You know, the double upgrades, Roach, slow third. Impact only gets one Evo chamber and a little bit of a faster third. I'm just wondering why the choice of the one Evo chamber. Is he gonna depend on more roaches? Is he gonna try and hit like a kind of a timing on Kane's own third? which the tiniest bit more roaches, or what's the reason in here?
Well, that does seem to be the thing we see classically. You know, Impact's gonna have 7 roaches up on Kane for a small time. Then he'll have to drone a little bit, and that's where Kane will catch up on the roaches. And we'll see the trade-off awkwardly as they both move towards that third. But Kane's third is quite late in comparison.
Yeah.
It's going to come down now here in a second, but the scary thing is, you know, both players, again, this is what sucks about ZVZ. Nothing's hidden and full vision on each.
Yep. You know, that's really, I was thinking about this when I was playing Legacy of the Void. That might change if, like, Ravagers are actually the thing to do, because Ravagers can hit air.
Yes. They can,
I mean, it's hard to.
But
did
you not see my sick Overlord jukes that dodged
did you,
like 6
did you really?
shots? Yeah.
I was wondering.
There's like 1 Overlord. I think we lost like 7. I kept 1 Overlord alive though. I was juking left and right.
Raptor shots are so stupid. I'm so glad they fixed that, by the way. Originally, the mod didn't accurately describe how frustrating hitting that shot on air units was, but now they do. This Overlord's dying, am I right? This one's gonna die.
Yeah, 2 queens being exposed like this. Usually a little bit of a danger, but because there wasn't a third base so early, he knew that Kane wasn't playing with the Zerglings, so there was no real threat to the queens. And that's actually a really smart move out of Impact.
The upgrades are about to finish for both players. If Impact is going to try and kill the third, it has to be now. You know?
I don't think the opportunity is there, though. Kane's got a few too many roaches to defend with. And like we said, Impact's got a small lead, and it is by about almost 10 roaches. This is a bit scary for Kane, but Defender's advantage is going to kick in. More roaches are spawning right now, and he's got a couple of queens for transfuses.
Yeah.
Impact's going to have 1 second of upgrades, and Kane's going to have 1-1 over the roach count. We'll see if that armor upgrade is going to make enough of a difference. I think with the queens it certainly should. Spreads this out really nicely. Good control to usher the roaches to the left. The problem is he's kind of giving up the roaches on the right. He's
losing straight up. The army supply is dipping huge for Impact. This does not work out. You know, a lot of times you talk about how like that 1 upgrade or even having 1-1 above your opponent doesn't seem to really matter because like they'll have like 30 more roaches. That's more of like in a max out scenario usually. Like the person who maxed out quicker is the one who doesn't have the upgrades. But that wasn't maxed out. That was really perfectly even. I looked at the army supply. It was like 56 versus 56, and I was like, I don't think Impact's gonna win this one.
Well, roaches get slapped down there at the third. Meanwhile, for Kane's sake, I mean, okay, he had those upgrades going for him, but he has an advance towards 2-2, whereas Impact is moving forward. So, while Kane may have had a small upgrade lead for now, it's not something that's going to carry through to the middle of the game.
Yeah, and behind this, Impact did drone up really hard. You know, even before he started to attack, he got like 12 more drones. So he's up by about 14 right now, and of course, with that just a little bit of a faster third. The upgrade for Impact, though, it is going to be what he's missing out on. Because even when it finishes, it'll just make him even.
Well, I think what's kind of cool to look at as we come forward, Impact first off supply block, that really sucks. But, you know, it's easy to look at the roaches that are alive. Look at the roaches that died, though. 7 versus 22. That's ridiculous. And, again, that's the difference of what Kane had in that Defender's fight. He's going to have a couple queens on the front lines, but sadly, they're about out of juice. They've been transfusing as they go. So, I mean, it's a little bit of extra damage. There's no downside to that, but I'm looking at this roach count, Zombie Grub, and even with that spine collar there, it's 47 versus 31. Coming here to that fight, Kane with a big surround on the bottom side, kind of loops around with a bit of a J shape, trying to get on top of Impact's roaches, and Impact is kind of in that same situation as last game, where he's just struggling to barely not be able to do this.
Well, the spine crawler being alive as long as it is, another transfuse finally goes down. It finally dies, but it added so much damage. The queens are only just now dying as well. Oh, that upgrade is like 5 seconds for completion for Impact too. He has 16 roaches on the way. He's going to hold. He won't lose the game here.
You know, the thing about the queens, too, this is I think where the armor upgrade actually matters, though, is they've got such a low amount of damage for how fast they attack, so the roaches take very little damage from the queens.
There you go.
Good hold out of Impact.
Yeah. That spine crawler, I think, was so important. It got like 6 transfuses, but
yeah, they got like 9 shots off. I wasn't counting, but like 7 or 8 at least.
A lot. Kane, though, you know, he dropped up a little bit behind it, but he's still lower on drones, and of course hasn't been mining that much as long. The upgrades have finally started, both of them, +2/+2. Impacts, nah, he won't have any upgrade lead whatsoever at all. But he took a good fight. Now he's a little bit up in the army supply.
Well, the Overseer is getting a decent scout for Kane. Doesn't quite have enough energy to do something sneaky like a Contaminate. Those are always kind of really cool to see on upgrades especially, but he did start his upgrades finally. So 2-2 for Kane's sake, gonna have that little bit of an edge going into this. And, well, Impact's gonna have the trade out of Burrow. I like Burrow because, yeah, you can do a lot of cool sneaky stuff with it, but you can heal your roaches. And, I mean, In context, it's like a Terran army without a medevac versus a Terran army with a medevac.
Yeah. Impact as the game goes on. I mean, you will be down that upgrade for a very, very long time. I wonder if he's gonna, either player they're gonna decide to go into Tunneling Claws, Hydra, and Festers. This always seems to be the choice at this junction. They've done the Roach Wars. Now what's next?
There has been a lot of situations though where we see something like one player gets drastically far ahead on upgrades, but because the game becomes passive like now for the next 3 minutes, they both end up having 200 roaches, or rather 200 supply and roaches, and they both have 2-2.
Yeah, that's absolutely 2. 2-2? No, okay.
Put pink little dresses on the roaches for his skin, 2-2s.
Tunneling Claws is on the way. In fact, don't fight down that ramp.
No, his army was really split too. So coming into the surround on the bottom, plus 5 roaches on the left side, not a good way to take that fight.
Oh.
Roach count though, fairly similar. It's a difference of 4 at the moment. Kane still has a bit of an upgrade lead. I mean, this for quite some time, but I mean, it's going to be 2-1 versus 2-2. Again, such a minimal difference when it comes to armor.
They're both going to go for Tunneling Claws as well. So this is also something we don't see usually happen with both players. It really doesn't usually happen that they one goes gas, one doesn't, one goes Tunneling Claws, one doesn't. But Kane's burrow not quite done. He does have an Overseer here, so Impact can't do anything fancy.
No, certainly not. And it is scary to disengage and engage like this, but one thing Impact's doing to start getting ahead is he did get a 4th behind this. Kane's still sitting on 3 bases, and Kane's still sitting on his tech. A couple of roaches you run by here to the natural, and this is kind of, I say, a specialty of Impact, where we'll start seeing him segment some roaches off 3-4 at a time, do some sneak attacks, roll in a couple banelings randomly. I mean, these are all cool tactics that he's shown us before multiple times in the past. And it's all going to be on Kane keeping an eye on this. He does have Overlord spread, so you should see everything coming. Oh, lose Queen in the main. That sucks.
Yeah, and again, another attack at the 3rd. So that is 2 hatcheries that aren't being injected.
Yeah, that's actually going to be where the larva starts falling apart, because he doesn't have a macro hatchery, but he also walks into a big surround out of Impact. Now, Kane's banking on Impact having less roaches here because of how many were across the map, but his clock is ticking. If these spine throwers complete while he's here, he's going to get demolished. In fact, he might just lose this fight anyways. The transfuses are going down. The roaches are still trading out pretty evenly 1 for 1, but those spine crawlers are a clock ticking away, waiting to get those shots off.
Kane is now down by 20 army supply. He has that upgrade, but he walked into a 360 surround and couldn't even kill the spine crawlers that were making.
He's going to escape thanks to those Tunneling Claws. The Overseer's not here just yet. He's actually going to try and use this turn around. Kind of a very sly tactic, but you know, with how much he's lost at the 3rd, how much he's lost at home, I mean, this is such a risky move to make. He doesn't have the same remax potential Impact does.
Impact wanted to block it off, but the Croup Tumor blocked him.
Oh,
it was almost really cool. Yeah.
Alright, so Smirch is going to head up to the 3rd. Kane's going to wait. I actually like that he waited a little bit there and didn't just jump the gun on that Unburrow, but still, Impact sneaks Smirches himself up to Kane's natural, and Kane on an already fairly low drone count, not even able to mine off his 3rd properly. Now going to get sideswiped by Impact, and he sees this coming. That's the scariest thing. Like, the Overseers are right there. He sees this giant push.
The drone counts have been equalized, and Kane's still doing damage on this of the map. It looks like Kane's gonna lose his 3rd. Impact, just go snipe it.
Kane's gonna try and snipe Impacts there, which isn't a terrible idea. Kane has absolutely gutted the roaches, or sorry, the drone count while this went on though. So Trace out a 3rd for a guaranteed win at the top of this ramp, but now trying to push out from that ramp is gonna be really difficult. And for Kane's sake, well, let's just slip past and get some more drone kills.
I don't know why, but we keep forgetting that Impact has had a 4th for a very long time. So while he loses the 3rd, that's not as important for Impact as it is for Kane.
Kane with a big surround back at home, though. Is this the fight he needs? He doesn't have as many roaches, but Impact doesn't have all of his roaches over here. So with the surround, Kane's going to take a beautiful engagement, but will this be enough with a follow-up? Here comes the reinforcements from Impact, starting to sandwich from the left side. Kane's going to have to turn this around, starts walking back to the top of his ramp. Roach counts are still 23 to 35, and Kane's, well, he tried to unburrow, but the roaches burrow is like a counter tactic. Burrow versus unburrow, whack-a-mole at this base. Kane has to hold at the top of this ramp. These roaches cannot push through. If these push through, that's going to be it for Kane. He's done such a low roach count. His reinforcements are coming up, but he doesn't have that many. Impact's actually reinforcing Zergly so he can get across that faster and try to just overwhelm and finally snowball this fight out of control.
It is snowballing for Impact. He's up by 30 army supply. Doesn't matter about that 1 upgrade. He's on top of the production technically as well as natural.
It's all Logar. I think this was a really cool game out of Kane as far as his counter tactics go, but Impact just played just a little bit better. You know, he's a little bit ahead when it came to that attack. He was the one who's the aggressor every step of the way. And he's, again, that fourth base, like, wow. Kane can't mine. He can't build anything. He's got no income. Good game's going to be called. It's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, but Impact takes game number 3. I'm liking the back.